Hi, welcome to my chess channel. I'm David Weegenaar. Thank you for visiting, and I have got for you hot cake straight off the shelf, straight out of the oven. Today I've got chess.com USA 2176 is black. So here we go. Let's get into it, okay? If you like. E4. Now C5. So I'm playing 2176 from USA. 2176. So you play generally carefully against these sorts of players. It's Blitz, of course. I play B4, the wing gambit. A bit bold, a bit crazy. So now black is 2 pawns up. So I'm trailing black by 2 pawns. D4. So this is one of the things that I've worked out about the wing gambit without looking at it in the books or whatever what it says to play for white. I just play it freelance for my own understanding of the principles of chess. So I've found that to give this the 2 pawns up, to get these 2 strong pawns in the center, where black wants to immediately get rid of this strength in the center, because if they leave them there, even a 2176 player, they can be a little bit formidable. So anyway, my opponent plays D5, so this crouches the pawns down to more fixed positions. E5, and here comes the bishop F5 move, which I consider quite good for black in this line. Knight A3. I don't want to play C3 yet, for pawn to C3 yet, because I want to keep my knight on B1, frankly. I don't want to keep, I don't want my opponent to be able to exchange their white squared bishop for my knight on B1. E6, C3, that sounds a bit odd, doesn't it? What I've just said, because now my opponent can take my knight on A1, A3. So knight D7, knight E2, just quiet maneuverings here. So again, we're in a position that is similar to a French, pardon me, but the white squared bishop of black is outside of the pawn formation, usually blocking it in the French. So it's almost like a Caro-Kann as well, with it being, of course, 1 for black, C5 Sicilian. I play H4, which is thematic in Caro-Kann sort of type lines. And now comes F4. This provokes black to play their next move, bishop H4, which it doesn't mean that I'm wanting black to play bishop H4, but it does promote it, doesn't it? So I play bishop F2, and now there's a sequence of moves coming soon that tend to want to block up the position on the king side for my pieces on the king side. So black's just played bishop C2, bishop takes knight, which is something I said earlier. And so here I've got, I thought that probably the next move would be rook here, but my opponent played F5. So I take, because I don't want to have it too closed on this side. I'm not sure which way is best for black to take here, but maybe even rook f6s, but I'm talking about a higher rated player than I am on chess.com, because I'm all over the place. Knight f6, f5, so I want to keep the lines open for my bits and pieces. So this creates exchanges. Now here, there's a wee point to this madness of mine. What would happen, do this in your mind, it's better for you. I've said that a lot of times before, but it is. What would happen if black plays knight to queen 7 or knight to d2, forking the rook and the rook? So what would happen? So what would happen, okay, if you're ready, is after this move here, then I would play this move, which is not necessarily here nor there, but I feel it's good for white. The initial thing is obviously this is probably going to be no good because of rook g5, and now black is threatened with their knight being captured, so that's no good, even though they have to give up a queen and a knight to get a rook and a rook. So that's favourable to white, etc. So the other thing is after this move here, it's not the greatest in the world for black to play this, although it's a wee bit better, maybe, I'm not sure. Here now could come here, or we have to watch. The thing is we have to watch this whole situation for white and black, because knight takes here. The best would probably, looks like it's this, but then black can go here, which is quite interesting, just to say the least about it. So anyway, there's tactics that happen after knight d2. So my opponent played rook a e8, and so here we go with the bishop d3 move, and still black can hop into d2 or cavort into d2 with their said knight or steed. So queen h5, that was impossible before. So I want to just give you an exercise here. Here, okay, new variation, b5. Now, what is wrong with with queen h5? If black's just played queen h5, what is wrong with it? Can you see what would be wrong with it? And I really only want one answer here. So if you don't want to see what the solution is to my wee query, then now's the time to hit your pause button or something similar. My move here would be, even though it was lightning or blitz, is this. And rook takes or knight takes from check, but preferably this, even though white could be met with king here, which is a bit of a stirs move, but it's really bad for black anyway, because I just go rook takes and I'm threatening the queen, and and the rook on e8 is unable to be defended because the queen has to run away somewhere from the bishop threat and the knight and the rooks, if you get what I'm saying. So we've got knight e7 check. So we would have knight e7, rook f8, rook f8 and rook f8, why not? King f8, and then sadly for black, bishop h5, capturing the queen obviously. So this is just a wee exercise that black couldn't take the pawn before when the bishop was on e2. Bishop e4. Now here rook e4, do you see what black would be met by at my hand? Similar to before. So black would be more or less met with either this check and queen takes or pawn takes and rook takes and white wins material, or this check, oops, if this check, then sorry, I'm just having a wee bit of a Google with this with the analysis here. So anyway, rook e4 and I've got knight e7 check. So my opponent went d e4. Now because the knight is looking after the square, I can't play knight check here. So I go rook h3. Okay. Now if the queen takes the knight, then I'm just going to be officially material up, even though I have less pawns than black. So sadly for black, what happens if this? Can you see what happens here for black if they play queen f7 instead of queen g6? White would merely play not this move because that's no good because of queen f1 etc. is defended by the rook on f8, and then rook e6 or rook e7 or whatever for white, for black. But black would be met by this move. Now if the pawn wasn't here, then that would be check and it would be obviously very, very good for white anyway. But the pawn is there, so the pawn can capture, and then the rook can be taking the queen on f7. I was going to say the rook can be captured, so but I improvised. So and here we've got a similar situation to what actually occurred in the game. Queen g6. Now go rook g3. Now black may as well just take the knight on f5 with their rook. Their queen. I tried again. So queen h7, rook g7, queen g7. So I have to be very, very quick, I feel, in this position here to keep activity. And black has got a passed d pawn, of course, that could be quite dangerous. So I've got to watch out. I could just plonk my king in front of it and play like that, but I didn't. So the knight and the rook battery have difficulty looking after each other and defending each other, but there's probably better then my opponent couldn't play here. So black is threatening, excuse me, black is threatening here something. What is it? Just threw my phone on the floor. Black is threatening what here? Black is threatening rook d3 checkmate. So I've said I have to be careful. So I go queen b8 check. So just be a nuisance. And now if I play the wrong move here, because I can only play 2 moves here, I lose, and in the other case I win. So I play the correct move. So what's the correct move and what's the wrong bad move for me to play here? The correct move is this, or the computer would say play there, don't play there. Okay, we'll show you why. What can black now do is knight check, and this is a fork between the king and the queen are both hit at the same time, and being a knight check, you can either take the knight or move out of it. You can't do anything like put something in between the attacking piece, which is the knight in this instance. So that would be no good for me. So I did play that, of course. Luckily I played king e5. Now my opponent finally gets snuffled because of queen f6, and really no matter where the king goes, here or here, the same result will happen. And that's the end of this session. Thank you very much. I hope you enjoyed it. Excuse me dropping my phone on the floor. It's not an outtake for that sort of thing. Thank you, and I'll leave it at that, and I hope you enjoyed that game. All the best, and all the best with your chess, of course. See you next time on The Muppet Show.